Sidney Crosby, heard of him, very good hockey player. He has reached milestone after milestone and kind of checked every box that you would want for him. And we are coming down to the last bit, whether it's the last year or two, last game or a few or whatever it is. But the career is certainly winding down. And it has me thinking, what is Sidney Crosby's place in history right now in the National Hockey League? Let's take a look at what Sid the Kid has done and where that might put him in the all-time NHL lore right now. The newest all-time leader in points for the Pittsburgh Penguins is Sidney Crosby, as he passed Mario Lemieux in all-time Penguin scoring a couple of weeks ago. And it has me wondering now where this guy ranks all-time in history, right? Like, he is on one of a handful of teams where he is not the automatic best to have ever done it with that team. And you can make a case, right? Like Mario, one of the best players of all time. Crosby, I don't know if it's just because we're watching it in time and we don't appreciate it or what. I don't know if he gets talked about in those circles as much as maybe he should. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Hart Trophy winner, 4-time NHL first team All-Star, not the ones that the fans vote on, but like the end of the year, like all first team, and then all second team as well. Currently, as I'm recording this, 8th in points all time, and could pass Steve Yzerman and Marcel Dionne by the time this season is done. And I really do think you have to look at this Sid the Kid. I think you have to look at this guy now as one of the best to have ever done it. Like, I think an easy top 10 for him at this point. To me, Mount Rushmore right now is Gretzky, Howe, and Lemieux. I do still think he is behind him. Like, I think, like I said before, I think you could make a case that Crosby could have passed Lemieux as the greatest Penguin of all time, but just saying that doesn't feel right. You know, like, obviously points-wise, he passed him, so there's that. But there's a feel to it that just doesn't click there, right? Like, that, as I'm saying that feels like something you watching would get upset about. You know? So just from a feel standpoint, it doesn't feel like Crosby has passed Lemieux. And so then to put him with Howe and Gretzky is a difficult thing to do. But it's tough to put him much further down than those guys. When, again, you look at the resume and what this guy has done. Just an incredible career. And again, like, limited at times with some concussion problems and all of that. And he wasn't here at a time where the goals were all the way down like it was pre-lockout or anything like that. Like, he comes in at a time where they've eased up on it a little bit, but there was still some down goal scoring times. And he's still able to put up massive numbers compared to guys who were out there when games were 8-2 and goalies were wearing cardboard for goalie equipment. And 3 Stanley Cups, with some longevity there too, right? Like, he's been to a couple more also, but it wasn't just, he had a great start to his career, now it's kind of faded off. He has been good even to this exact moment in time. And a couple of Stanley Cups after the run that they had early when they were competing with the Red Wings in the Cup final every year. Like, he has another one where you could divide his career in half and you'd get 2 Hall of Fame careers. And again, the international stuff gets a little limited because of NHL's lack of involvement in those sorts of things, but an all-time moment with the golden goal in 2010. So I feel like you are watching one of the all-time greats. And it really drives home, we need to get this guy playing big games again, whether it's the Penguins in the playoffs or not. This guy can still play at a really, really high level. I know a lot of people in Colorado, a lot of people in Montreal would like to see him on their teams as they make a push towards a championship. But I feel like we need to get this guy in the playoffs with a legitimate chance to win a Stanley Cup. And I don't think if he leaves, if he does the Ray Bourque, obviously a bit of a difference there because Ray Bourque had none and this guy has 3. But if he does that, I don't think it affects the legacy even a little bit going forward. So it was something that kind of caught my eye. Like, wait a minute, where do I have him all time right now. So probably next time there's going to be a lull in me doing hockey stuff. Or me doing podcast stuff. We'll probably throw that out as a top 10 players of all time in NHL history. And Sidney Crosby, he's going to be on that list. And he's probably going to be pretty high up, given the amount of accomplishments that we have seen. And I feel like, as someone who came in with all that hype, he has lived up to it. And it's funny because he was talked about always, and he was on every national this and every commercial that and this, that, and the other thing. And now that there's been kind of this new wave coming in, and the Penguins have admittedly kind of faded off into obscurity, I think it is now kind of to a point where we're under discussing how good this guy has been for his entire hockey life. And I think there's like a top 5 case that could be made for this guy and just how good he has been as an NHL player for as long as he has done it. Where do you guys have him ranked? Where is Sidney Crosby all time? Am I being just a little bit too cautious and not putting him ahead of Mario Lemieux in Penguins all-time lore? Or do I have that one right? Let me know down in the comments. I'm sure no one will be shy on things like this because Sidney Crosby and all-time lists really do get people fired up. If you want these in podcast form, well, you're in luck. They're there. You can listen to Couch Potato Diary on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It was a phenomenal year for Couch Potato Diary, and really looking to hit the ground running here in 2025. So a little frustrating that obviously feeling a little under the weather, but I'm trying to get going as much as we possibly can.